Hi everybody, welcome to another learning course from Bangert. Today we're going to talk about getting prepared for the year-end upgrades for Sage 300 and Sage 100. This is going to be separate from closing your financial year or anything like that, although we'll touch on kind of how that affects the timing of your Sage software upgrade. So we're going to kind of be able to break down the preparations for year end into kind of 4 different pieces that we're going to look at. We're going to look at what are the system requirements, what you need to do to prepare your environment for the upgrade, what is the upgrade process, and then where we'll touch on kind of like your financial year end and things like that, those key events that are going to affect the timing of the upgrade steps. So as a generality, system requirements between Sage 300 and Sage 100 are very similar to each other. For both, the server needs to be on Windows Server 2012 R2, Windows Server 2016, Windows Server 2019. Any one of those 3 is an acceptable option. And then when we get to the workstations, as a generality, you shouldn't have any issues excepting Windows 11. Windows 11 is not supported for any of the various Sage CRE suites. So that's going to be Sage 100, Sage 300, and Sage Estimating. You're also, as you think about your system requirements, going to want to confirm that your integrated products, such as Estimating, Paperless, My Assistant, Office Connector, Procore, HH2, etc., you're going to want to make sure that those are ready for the new version before you upgrade. You're also going to need a local data storage drive with as much free space as you have accounting data. That way you can make your backup before the year-end process. And then as far as preparing your environment, you're going to want to make sure that you have the Windows updates installed for all of your workstations as well as your server. You're going to want to make sure that your Sage accounting software users are notified that they need to be out of the software during the upgrade process. You're also going to want to make sure that you can provide Windows administrative access for any workstations that will be updated, as well as the server. So the server could be through remote or direct access to that Windows desktop, but that is the Windows desktop. That's not just your file share. So you're going to need basically access to the start menu. If you can get to the server start menu, that's what we need access for. If you need to reach out to your IT provider in order to get that access, make sure to have that arranged in advance. And it's always a good idea, even if you don't need your IT provider to help with that, to just let them know that you're going to be having that upgrade. You also want to make sure that you have Sage accounting system or application administrative user access in order to upgrade that data towards the end of the process, as well as potentially make backups. Specifically for Sage 300 systems, you need to be prepared for the server and any workstations that are having the software installed to be restarted during that upgrade process. What's the upgrade process look like? For Sage 300 CRE, we're going to back up the application data. So that's your Timberline Office 9.5 folder, as well as any company data folders. Then we'll install the server software on the server. We'll upgrade the data. While that data is upgrading, we're going to go ahead and start work on those workstation installs and potentially upgrade any other Sage software that might need upgrading. You'll also, once the upgrade for the data has been completed, need to make sure you open up, if you have it, service management or purchasing and inventory. What are the key events that you need to think about during this period? You want to make sure that you pay attention to the close of the year. So if you're doing a fiscal year close, that can happen about the same time with Sage 300. Any version can close that fiscal year. So that's not going to affect when you need to upgrade your Sage software. The same goes for your payroll tax tables as far as which version. Any of our clients that have been engaging with us are going to be used to that update for the payroll tax tables and should be on a version that can accept them. Certainly, any version from 18 and forward can accept the payroll tax tables, and it could be some of those older versions are able to as well. With Sage 300, that's disassociated from the software upgrade because those versions can upgrade their tax tables separately. So the only thing you need to pay attention to there is you want to make sure you get that done after the last payroll of 2022, but before you run the first payroll of 2023. Now, your W-2s and 1099s are going to have an effect on your software upgrade. You'll want to make sure you get that software upgrade completed in time for the government deadline for those W-2s and 1099s, which is January 31st, 2023. So you want to make sure you get your software updated by the end of January, but really it can be any time after that release is out. And right now we know the year-end version is going to be 22 point something. When we move on to Sage 100, this process gets a little bit simpler from what's the upgrade process. It's not quite as many steps to it. Backing up your Sage company data backs up all of the application data. So we're going to do a backup of the company data. Then we'll install that upgrade on the server and upgrade the data on the server. Any Sage softwares that might need to be upgraded during that process will be upgraded at that same time. So estimating or anything similar like that might need updated. And then we'll install on the workstations. It's a little bit simpler, a little bit less complex with Sage 100, but it's the exact same idea. You're going to have the same year-end key events that happen, with the exception of the tax tables are updated as part of the software. So even if it's released prior to your last payroll of 2022, you want to make sure to wait until after your final payroll of 2022 to update Sage 100. Otherwise, you can close the year from any software as far as I'm aware. So you should be able to close your fiscal year at any point. And then the main thing is you want to make sure you've got your software updated before the deadline for the W-2s and 1099s. It's a little bit tighter window. You want to try and get it updated as soon as it's reasonably possible. But if you run a payroll with the 2022 tax tables, in general, it's not going to cause much of an issue. There is some concern about the payroll archive that may need to be done before running that software upgrade. And we'll have some more news on that moving forward. And in generality, though, the takeaway should be that you'll need to aim for after the last payroll of 2022 and prior to the W-2 and 1099 deadline for 2023. We'll have more information for you move forward, so always keep a lookout for more information on our bug portal as well as on our YouTube. Thanks for watching.